Hi friends, Krista here. Thank you for stopping by Books and Jams. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm sitting at work. The little dude that I watch is taking his nap, and I'm just going to film a kind of quick video right here, right now. And I'm doing it vlog style, which means I'm holding my phone. I have my arm resting, so hopefully I can hold it long enough without it being too shaky. So I get these emails from BookBub, which have a lot of little bookish articles in them when it comes. I think it comes weekly, maybe. One of the ones that I got recently had an article called The Best Historical Fiction of the Year So Far, and that piqued my interest. And the question underneath it says, how many of these have you read? I have not opened it up yet to see what books are listed, but I'm very curious to see what books are in there and if I've read any of them. I don't know what we're going to see. So I think I'm going to just go through this and film it and look at it with you, react to the books that are listed. Maybe I'll know some of them, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll add a couple to my TBR, maybe I'll put one on hold at the library right away. Let's see. I'm super curious. Okay, here we go. Best historical fiction of the year so far. Let's see what we get. Oh, I'm so curious if I've read any of these. Okay, so the first one, let's see. Can't get enough historical fiction, neither can we. Check out the books we've loved, from Tales of Missing Diamonds to World War II adventures to novels set during the Roaring 20s. I'm going to try to scroll it so I only see one at a time. The first one here is the Magnolia Palace. I do have this on my shelves. I really loved another book that I've read by Fiona Davis, The Address. But I have not read this one yet. It was a book of the month and it's on my shelves, but I haven't read it. But I'm excited that it's one of the top, I don't know who's voting on this article. Four Treasures of the Sky by Jenny Zhang. I actually have this checked out from the library right now because I pulled it from my patron pick jar. Somebody read it obviously earlier this year and really liked it. This is about a girl kidnapped from China and smuggled to San Francisco to work in a brothel. She fights to survive in the 19th century American West as she contends with the anti-Chinese sentiment sweeping across the nation, including the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. She draws on her past to control her own story. I just think that sounds really good, and one of my patrons recommended it to me, so I'm very eager to read it, and I've got it in my house right now. The Mayfair Bookshop. I also own this one. I might have to do a try a chapter tag with these. This is by Eliza Knight. This was one of my anticipated reads, so I was already eager to read this. Two captivating narratives in a dual timeline novel jumping between the 1930s and present day. As World War II looms, socialite Nancy Mitford, one of the 6 Mitford sisters, takes a job at Haywood Hill Bookshop. And then decades later, book curator Lucy Sinclair begins working at Hayward Hill, where her life becomes intertwined with Nancy's. I mean, I love that. The bookshop is the connector between the two timelines. I'm very excited to read that one. Okay, this one I have not heard of before. In the Face of the Sun by Denny Bryce. I've never heard of it. She also wrote Wild Women and the Blues, which was her debut. This one, dual narrative. 1928 Los Angeles to 1968 Chicago. Frankie Saunders is fleeing an abusive husband. Help arrives in the form of her Aunt Daisy, who offers to drive her across country to California. I've never heard of that one. Has anyone read that? In the Face of the Sun. Sounds interesting. Okay, The Hacienda was another book of the month pick that I actually have unhauled already. I didn't read this one. By Isabel Cañas. Billed as Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca. I am not a huge fan of Gothic fiction, so this one just didn't appeal to me when I saw it, but I know that it's very popular with a lot of people. This is set after the Mexican War of Independence, centers on Beatriz, who lost her father and her home during the overthrow of the Mexican government. When Don Rodolfo Solorzano proposes, she accepts and travels to his countryside estate. But instead of finding peace, something else happens. I'm not going to click on more, but interesting that that's a popular one. Have you guys read that one, The Hacienda? Next is another one I've never heard of before, Wingwalkers by Taylor Brown, set during the Great Depression. Oh, I love the cover of that. I mean, I have a feeling it's about women who walk out onto the wings of planes. Della and Zeno Marigold travel across country performing aerial stunts. Yep. Intertwined with their story is that of William Faulkner, the famed author who meets the daredevil duo during an air show. A heart-pounding plot and gorgeous description of southern terrain from the air. Interesting. Like a different spin on nature writing, right? Like seeing it from above. That could be pretty cool. Is that the last one? Nope, here we go. Forbidden City. Another one I've never heard of before. This is by Vanessa Hua. It's about the Cultural Revolution in China. May is just about to turn 16 as the revolution begins, and she dreams of leaving her small village. When she's recruited to come to the capital, she agrees, only to find out that her job is to dance for the elite members of the Communist Party. Whoa, that would be interesting to read about. And then we have Horse by Geraldine Brooks. I know the name Geraldine Brooks. She's written a couple different ones. The one that I think of is March, which is kind of a historical fiction backstory of the father in Little Women. This one weaves together 3 narratives, all connected to a racehorse, stretching from Kentucky in 1850 to Washington, D.C. in 2019. The Library Journal describes as a clever and richly detailed novel about how we commodify, commemorate, and quantify winning. Now, that one does not appeal to me at all. Not at all. Then we have Sister Mother Warrior by Vanessa Riley. If you were swept away by Island Queen, I've not read Island Queen, last summer, you won't want to miss her newest historical novel. Inspired by the true stories of 2 women, it tells the tale of Gran Toya, a powerful female warrior, and Marie Claire Bonner, who becomes Empress of Haiti, and their roles as revolutionaries. That sounds very cool. Sister Mother Warrior. I've never even heard of that. I like that it takes place in Haiti. I've been to Haiti twice and would be very interested. I don't think I've read anything that is set in Haiti or about a Haitian main character. Yeah, that sounds interesting to me. Sister Mother Warrior. And then we have, by Jade Beer, The Last Dress from Paris. I feel like there's a lot of books that have like the Paris dressmaker or something about fashion and Paris combined. Obviously, it's a fashion capital of the world, or one of them. This one is 1952 timeline and 2017. We have a story of love, friendship, and fashion. Surprise, surprise. Lucille's grandmother asks her to bring a Dior dress from Paris back home to London. She readily agrees, but what she finds in France changes everything. Da, 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 da. I'm sure she's going to learn a little bit more about her mother and her history in Paris, right? And we have another one that's on my shelves, Woman of Light by Callie Fajardo-Anstein. This one tells the moving, memorable story about 5 generations of an indigenous Chicano family. In 1930s Denver, Luz, or Little Light Lopez, begins to have visions about her ancestors and the lives they lived. So she starts having visions. Is that going to be like magical realism or like supernatural to some degree? Woman of Light. Interesting. And then we have The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. This is on my anticipated reads list. I absolutely want to read it. I have loved the other books by Kate Quinn that I've read. I love that she gets a little bit gritty and a little bit like, she's not afraid. She doesn't try to sugarcoat history in her books. And this one is about a librarian who becomes a skilled sniper known as Lady Death. That sounds crazy to me. A librarian and a sniper. It seems unlikely that that could be the same person. So I'm definitely very interested in The Diamond Eye. All right, then we have Take My Hand is also on my shelves. I definitely need to do a try chapter with these. By Dolan Perkins Valdez. Nurse Sybil Townsend has high hopes that her new job at the Montgomery Family Planning Clinic will give her the opportunity to help women. But soon she makes a dark discovery. 2 of her young patients have been involuntarily sterilized. I remember reading about this. This reminds me of Necessary Lies by Diane Chamberlain, except that in this one, our main character is a Black woman, Black nurse or social worker, family planning clinic. It doesn't really say whether it's social work or nursing, but I am very interested in this story. I loved Necessary Lies, and I think it's horrible that involuntary sterilization is a part of our history. Like, that's just crazy to me. So I definitely want to read Take My Hand, and I'm glad it's on this list of top historical fiction. Then we have The Bookwoman's Daughter, which I just received recently for my birthday from one of you guys. Thank you so much. I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh, actually I do. It's Amanda. Book lover Amanda gave this to me. This is by Kim Michelle Richardson. I really loved The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek, and this is the sequel about her daughter. I don't remember if the daughter is also a blue person. I don't remember. I know that's a genetic trait, but I don't remember if the daughter is a blue person of Kentucky as well. But I do know that she's also going to be a librarian, like Packhorse librarian, like the mother, I think. So I've just heard really good things about this one already. So I'm excited for that. Then we have The School for German Brides. I've never read this one, by Amy K. Runyon. After her mother dies, Hannah is sent to live with her wealthy aunt and uncle. There she finds herself matched with an SS officer 2 decades older than her. Interesting. Sent off to bride school to curb her independent nature and teach her proper behavior, Hannah is horrified by the rhetoric she encounters. She knows she needs to escape, and when she finds a young Jewish woman... Oh man, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. The School for German Brides. I'm absolutely adding that to my to-read list on Goodreads so that I don't forget about it. I love that. I love it. Sisters of Night and Fog by Erica Roebuck. I feel like I've just seen this around a little bit recently. Her first book was her last book was The Invisible Woman. And this is another book set during World War II. Living in Paris with her husband, American Virginia d'Albert Lake is determined to stay in France even as the war continues. Meanwhile, 19-year-old Violetta Bushell wants nothing more than to fight against the Nazis. And then their courage is going to lead both of them to do something. We don't know. Interesting. So I don't think it's actual sisters. Is it? I don't know. That one doesn't jump out at me as something I need to read right away, but let me know if you've read it, Sisters of Night and Fog. Let me know if that's something I need to read. We have Violetta by Isabel Allende, another sweeping novel that will captivate readers. As Violetta Duval tells the story of her life to her grandson Camillo, a century of history unfolds on the page, stretching from her birth in the 1920s South America to her experiences with COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Yeah, I'm not interested in that as well. I don't need a book about COVID yet in my life. Maybe someday, but right now I'm not really interested. All right, and that is the last one. Okay. So let's see how many I have on my shelves. I think Bookwoman's Daughter, Take My Hand, 1, 2. Woman of Light, 3. Wingwalkers. Mayfair Bookshop, 4. 4 Treasures of the Sky, I have out from the library, 5. I just realized the waves of this is a face. That's really pretty. And then 6, The Magnolia Palace. I am not going to do a try a chapter with this video, but maybe I'll do kind of a part 2. This is already long enough. So this was just a reaction video to that article. I will do a follow-up try a chapter with these 6 books soon. Since one of them is checked out from the library, I need to do it soon. And I'll let you know a little bit more about them. But I am interested about this list. I would love to know any of the ones that I didn't know. Are you familiar with them? Are they worth picking up and reading? Would you agree with this list? Were there any surprises, either good or bad surprises on this list? I would love to hear from you what you think about it. So let's chat down in the comments below. You guys know I always love talking with you down there. Let me know if you like this reaction to an article like this, because I get these articles all the time. Some of them don't always jump out at me, but this one being historical fiction, and that's always what I say is my favorite genre, I had to do this reaction video. So let me know if you enjoyed this, and I can't wait to talk with you down in the comments, and I look forward to talking with you in another video very soon. Bye.